Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight for 23 ABC News at 5. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight's top stories. A domestic violence situation leads to an officer-involved shooting, fracturing of family. We'll hear from the family of the victim in this 23 ABC exclusive. Plus, getting back to work after recovering from COVID-19. We'll tell you about a woman's road to recovery after testing positive for the virus. 23 ABC News at 5 starts right now.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 5 starts now.
Good evening. A domestic fight on Easter Sunday leaves 2 children without their parents. 23 ABC's Leslie Gooden was able to speak to the Rivera family, and she joins us live at the scene where it all began. Leslie?
Yes, good evening. I'm here off the Taft Highway, and as you guys can see, there is still an active scene here. And the family today tells me of Audrey Rivera, says their world is shattered after a domestic violence situation turned into a kidnapping, leaving 2 people dead and a newborn fighting for his life.
Victim of a gunshot wound. The victim is pregnant, currently starting CPR, 78 right for him.
Never ever thought that he would do this. I didn't ever think he'd pull a gun and kill her and leave her like that. When I found her, I didn't think that this really did shock me that I seen her like that, because I did not ever think that from him at all, because she's the mother of his kid. She's the mother of his kid.
The family, as well as the Kern County Sheriff's Office, confirms that 34-year-old Adriana Rivera is the gunshot victim of a domestic dispute that occurred around 8:30 p.m. Sunday on the 7800 block of Florence Street near Weed Patch. Rivera, better known as Audrey, was 7 months pregnant. Deputies say she got into an argument with her on and off boyfriend, 36-year-old Javier Vidal, who then shot her, leaving the scene with her 2-year-old son, Elias Vidal, causing an Amber Alert to be issued.
The suspect going to be the victim's boyfriend, Javier Vidal, who fled with their 2-year-old juvenile.
It wasn't until 11 p.m. that 2-year-old Elias was found at an unknown location without his father. It was 30 minutes after finding Elias, KCSO also located his father, Javier.
At around 11:35 on the 2900 block of Taft Highway. When we located the suspect, he started firing at us. A SWAT call out was initiated with the assistance of Bakersfield Police Department and California Highway Patrol. The standoff lasted till approximately 4 a.m. At 4 a.m., the suspect was declared deceased.
No law enforcement officers were injured, but the ordeal left Rivera's family devastated, but grateful that both of her children had survived, though her newborn son, Josiah, is fighting for his life on a breathing machine.
These next 24 hours are going to be critical, so we're asking that everybody pray or send good vibes, energy, whatever it is that you do. We just ask that you please do that for that baby, and not just that baby, all of her children.
The family says if they could have said anything to Audrey, it would be this.
Just come over, it's fine. We don't care about social distancing. We'll break the quarantine for you. Come over. If we could rewind a couple days back when she wanted to get together for Easter, come over, let's do it.
Audrey leaves behind 4 children, including their newborn, who family says there is a picture on social media floating around of the newborn inside the hospital, and they're asking out of respect to please take it down. And KCSO is still investigating, as you guys can see behind me. For more information, be sure to turn to our website, turn to23.com. For now, in Bakersfield, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
The Kern County Sheriff's Office has released its crime statistics from the past month, and it appears they've been on the rise compared to last year. According to statistics comparing crimes from March 2020 to March 2019, KCSO saw a rise in crimes such as homicide, rape, and robbery, among others. KCSO says it investigated 1 homicide last March, but 3 this March, which is a 200% increase. There were 8 reported rapes last year, 9 in 2020. There were 22 more robberies this March than last. For more on these statistics, head to our website, turn to23.com. 6 people are still recovering after a shooting in East Bakersfield over the weekend. According to the Sheriff's Office, between 400 and 500 people were gathered together at a party in the area of Pioneer Drive and Sterling Road when 4 suspects, described as black men in a white sedan, opened fire on the large group. According to KCSO, 1 girl and 5 men sustained non-life-threatening wounds. However, officials say none of the victims are cooperating. No arrests have been made at this time, but if you have any information on the shooting, you are urged urged to call KCSO at 861-3110. The Bakersfield Police Department needs your help locating an 11-year-old girl who's been missing since Sunday afternoon. BPD says Andrea Chavez Aguinaldo was last seen just before 4:30 yesterday afternoon in the area of Hughes Lane off of White Lane. Police say she's at risk because of medical and mental conditions. She's described as being 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing 175 pounds, and was last seen wearing a red flannel, black pants, and gray shoes. If you have any information on her whereabouts, you're asked to call BPD at 327-7111.
And we are tracking a warming trend on the way, but currently right now here in Bakersfield, we are at 73 degrees right now. It is a nice, beautiful, warm evening, and we'll continue to see these warm temperatures through the rest of the week, thankfully. But let's take a look at your weather headlines for this week. We are going to see gusty winds in those mountain passes up to 50 miles per hour through this evening. We do have a wind advisory in effect until 11 p.m. tonight, but we are going to see dry and warm weather make a comeback this week. We are going to see temperatures remain in the 70s and even reach the 80s here in Bakersfield. But we are tracking another storm system moving into the region. We could possibly see some precipitation towards the end of the week, but we're tracking a very light system. If anything, we'll see the precipitation really coming in on Friday. But getting back to those gusty winds that are moving in today, it is going to be sticking around through the rest of the evening. You can already see those wind gusts already picking up this evening. Bakersfield at 11 miles per hour, Fraser Park at 6 miles per hour, and Tehatchee at 19 right now. So as I mentioned, that wind advisory that is in effect, it is still for those mountain and desert communities until 11 p.m. tonight, and it is for that light brown shaded area on your screen right there, and it won't be expiring until 11 p.m. tonight. But of course, we will keep tracking the very latest for you and keep you updated.
All right, Alex, thanks. Kern County Public Health reporting more cases of COVID-19, but also reporting more test results have come back negative. Public Health is reporting 454 COVID-19 cases in total. 446 residents and 8 non-residents have tested positive for the virus. The death toll is still at 3. However, there are now more test results that have come back negative. Officials also saying they've administered more than 6,900 tests and 2,600 tests are still pending. While the number of COVID-19 cases in Kern County continues to grow, Kern County Public Health has also reported an increase in patients who have recovered from the virus. At last report, 113 patients in Kern County have recovered so far. 23 ABC's Bayon Wang had a chance to speak to one of those patients and has more on her journey to recovery.
Karen Burhow just turned 65 years old, and some would say that 65 is a landmark of wisdom. But for Karen Burhow, she says she'll remember this year's birthday as the year she defeated COVID-19. She says she's doing so well now that she's actually returned back to work.
I hate to use the word mild because, you know, I was very uncomfortable for several days there.
Karen Burhow says she's surprised that she tested positive for COVID-19 because the only symptoms she noticed was a mild cough towards the end of March.
I've had flus before that I thought, oh my God, am I going to survive this? Because I would just be so incredibly sick. And I never felt that way with this.
But with a 70-year-old husband who has a compromised immune system and an 87-year-old mother who she regularly interacts with, Burhow took precaution and stayed away from them.
The only thing I ever felt was I've got to not give this to my husband and mother because it could kill them.
Burhow says she has now recovered from COVID-19 and returned to work on Sunday at a Circle K store off of Interstate 5 in Kern County. At first, her employer asked her to provide evidence of a negative test, which is one of the methods to determine whether an individual can discontinue home isolation according to CDC guidelines. But when Burhow reached out to Kern County Public Health,
they told me that none of the testing places are doing negative tests, that there aren't enough tests to go around for people who need it.
Burhow shared that information to her employer, who she says then considered another method listed on the CDC website, which shows that a person may stop home isolation after displaying no symptoms for over 72 hours without assistance of medication, and that at least 7 days have passed since symptoms first appeared.
They basically came back to me and gave me a date that I could come back to work. And they were actually very nice. They specifically told me, you know, but only if you're feeling like it.
And Burhouse said what she'll remember most through these trying times is the support she got from the community. Individuals dropping off food at her door, people even coming to her lawn to cut her weeds. She also mentioned that health officials want to get her blood tested for antibodies. If those antibodies are present, Burhouse says she wants to donate her plasma to help the community battle COVID-19. For now, reporting for 23 ABC, Bayan Wang, connecting you.
Well, due to the impact from the coronavirus pandemic, 12 businesses, including Smileland Dental, H&M, and Urbane Cafe, are set to lay off employees. Kohl's says it is furloughing more than 90 employees from its Northwest Bakersfield store on Rosedale Highway, and it's laying off 69 employees from the Gosford Road location. H&M in the Valley Plaza Mall is laying off 34 employees because of COVID-19, and another 21 employees at the Tejon outlets. Meantime, Smileland Dental says it's furloughing more than 100 employees in total from its multiple locations around the county. For more information on the businesses and how many employees are being laid off, head to our website, turnto23.com. Unemployment insurance claims in the Kern, Inyo, and Mono local workforce development area averages around 1,000 per week. That's according to County Administrative Officer Ryan Alsop. Alsop making that announcement on Twitter this morning. In the week ending on March 28th, more than 17,000 people filed for unemployment. The claims report for the week ending on April 4th will be available sometime next week. Governor Gavin Newsom holding his daily news briefing this afternoon to address the latest developments on COVID-19 around the state. The governor announced a shared vision and joint framework to reopen California during his daily update on the state's response to the pandemic. Newsom says he will release a detailed plan for easing social distancing guidelines tomorrow at noon. The shared vision for reopening the state was developed with governors from Oregon and Washington. He reassured that the release of stay-at-home orders is a decision made in coordination with the two western states to keep people healthy and safe using science and facts.
We will be driven by facts. We'll be driven by evidence. We'll be driven by science. We'll be driven by our public health advisors, and we'll be driven by the collaborative spirit that defines the best of us at this incredibly important moment.
California has more than 23,500 confirmed cases, but hospitalizations have stabilized in recent days. Now again, Newsom will provide his plan tomorrow at noon. President Donald Trump and the coronavirus task force holding its daily news briefing to address the pandemic. With the problems COVID-19 is giving to many things around the U.S., the commander-in-chief addressed a possible delay for the census.
During this difficult time, we're also working to ensure that the 2020 census is completed safely and accurately. We may be asking for an extension because obviously they can't be doing very much right now. They wouldn't even be allowed to do it. So the census, we're going to be asking for a delay, a major delay. I think how can you possibly be knocking on doors for a long period of time now?
The president continues to eye a possible May 1st date to reopen the country, but he says people will know if it's possible over the next few days. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin says processing the direct payments to Americans is ahead of schedule. He says more than 80 million hardworking Americans will get the direct deposit by this Wednesday.